still looking good.
I'm still feeling good. You know, I've got all your MyPillow products. Mattress topper, bed sheets, MyPillows, towels, slippers, blankets.
I'm interrupting this commercial to do something I've never done before. Get 2 MyPillows absolutely free on orders of $100 or more. I can't do this forever, so get on board with this great sale today. Our best-selling 6-piece bath towel sets or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Our famous standard MyPillows only $14.98. Queens $18.98. King size only $1 more. Body pillows $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase, $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bed sheet sets. Any size, any color. So go to MyPillow.com or call that number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And when you spend $100 or more, get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. I hear every day about the products you all wish MyPillow carried. Well, guess what? We probably do. Slippers, bathrobes, pet beds, blankets, mattresses, sleepwear, loungewear, duvets, comforters, pot holders, aprons, oven mitts, and so much more. And they're all on sale. For example, get our best-selling standard MyPillows for only $14.98. Body pillows, $29.98. 6-piece bath towels or kitchen towel sets, just $29.98. Multi-use MyPillow 2.0s with pillowcase, $9.98. Save $40 on our Spring Percale and Giza Dream bed sheet sets. Any size, any color, and so much more. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to save up to 80% on all MyPillow products. And I've never done this before. When you spend $100 or more, you're going to get 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free.
Happy Monday, America. I'm Vanessa Broussard. Welcome to the Spin Room. Illegal immigration is the hot topic at the White House today as El Salvador President Nayib Bukele visits with President Trump. President Trump stood outside the White House this morning greeting Bukele as he arrived. The two met, had lunch, then sat in the Oval Office with cabinet members discussing their historic partnership. Because of their partnership, hundreds of violent illegal aliens have been deported from our country. The fake news was there, of course, trying to twist the narrative of illegals being deported back to El Salvador. Trump and his administration, they put an end to it quickly and accurately. Take a listen.
For nationals of El Salvador under temporary protected status?
Do you plan to ask
Let's hear the question from this very low-rated anchor at CB.
Thank you, President. Do you plan to ask President Bukele to help return the man who your administration says was mistakenly deported? The man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador?
Well, let me ask Pam, would you answer that question?
Sure, President. First and foremost, he was illegally in our country. He had been illegally in our country. And in 2019, 2 courts, an immigration court and an appellate immigration court, ruled that he was a member of MS-13 and he was illegally in our country. Right now, it was additional paperwork had needed to be done. That's up to El Salvador if they want to return him. That's not up to us. The Supreme Court ruled, President, that if, as El Salvador wants to return him, this is international matters, foreign affairs, if they wanted to return him, we would facilitate it, meaning provide a plane.
So will you return him?
And you are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Stephen Miller, wait a minute. Can you just also respond to that question? Because, you know, it's asked by CNN, and they always ask it with a slant, because they're totally slanting because they don't know what's happening. That's why nobody's watching them. But would you answer that question also?
Yes, gladly. So, as Pam mentioned, there's an illegal alien from El Salvador. So, with respect to you, he's a citizen of El Salvador. So, it's very arrogant even for American media to suggest that we would even tell El Salvador how to handle their own citizens as a starting point. As 2 immigration courts found that he was a member of MS-13. when President Trump declared MS-13 to be a foreign terrorist organization, that meant that he was no longer eligible under federal law, which I'm sure you know, you're very familiar with the INA, that he was no longer eligible for any form of immigration relief in the United States. So he had a deportation order that was valid, which meant that under our law, he's not even allowed to be present in the United States and had to be returned because of the foreign terrorist designation. This issue was then, by a district court judge, completely inverted, and a district court judge tried to tell the administration that they had to kidnap a citizen of El Salvador and fly him back here. That issue was raised to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said the district court order was unlawful, and its main components were reversed 9-0 unanimously, stating clearly that neither Secretary of State nor the President could be compelled by anybody to forcibly retrieve a citizen of El Salvador from El Salvador, who again is a member of MS-13, which, as I'm sure you understand, rapes little girls, murders women, murders children, is engaged in the most barbaric activities in the world, and I can promise you, if he was your neighbor, you would move right away.
So you don't plan
But
to
the
ask for
Supreme
any
Court is
help to get him
asking
back?
to.
And
that-
what was the ruling in the Supreme Court, Steve? Was it 9-0?
Yes, it was a 9-0
In our favor.
in our favor against the district court ruling, saying that no district court has the power to compel the foreign policy function of the United States. As Pam said, the ruling solely stated that if this individual, at El Salvador's sole discretion, was sent back to our country, that we could deport him a second time.
Well,
No version of this legally ends up with him ever living here because he is a citizen of El Salvador. That is the president of El Salvador. Your questions about it, per the court, can only be directed to him.
I asked
¿Usted lo
President
liberaría,
Bukele,
Presidente
what is
Bukele?
can President Bukele weigh in on this? Do you plan to return him?
Well, I'm supposed to suggesting that I smuggle a terrorist into the United States, right?
It's always
How can I smuggle? How can I return him to the United States? Like, I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, I mean, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
But you can release him inside El Salvador.
Yeah, but I'm not releasing. I mean, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. I mean, we just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into releasing criminals so they can go back to being the murder capital of the world? And that's not going to happen.
Well, they'd love to have a criminal, released into
I mean, there's a fascination.
They would love it.
Yeah.
They're sick. These are sick people. Marco, do you have something to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, Stephen outlined it. I don't understand what the confusion is. This individual is a citizen of El Salvador. He was illegally in the United States and was returned to his country. That's where you deport people, back to their country of origin, except for Venezuela that wasn't refusing to take people back, or places like that. I can tell you this, Mr. President. No, the foreign policy of the United States is conducted by the President of the United States, not by a court. And no court in the United States has a right to conduct the foreign policy of the United States. It's that simple. End of story.
And that's what the Supreme Court...
Well, there you have it. Not too sure what the fake news doesn't understand about illegal immigration. It's just that it's illegal. Send them back. And also, it's a federal crime. That was a fact check for the fake news regarding Kilmore Abrego Garcia, an illegal alien who the Supreme Court ordered to return to his home country. With more on this, let's go to White House correspondent Allison Steinberg, live in Washington, D.C. right now. Allison, good to see you. Sounded like a successful meeting. Right there where you were.
Good to see you
too,
Vanessa.
Today?
Yes, it was a successful meeting indeed. As you saw, it was wonderful to see the whole Trump cabinet really just shut down the fake media right then and there with President Bukele in the Oval Office. I mean, this is just despicable that the left continues to try to run cover for the most dangerous, violent, hardened criminal, part of a known gang organization, and they continue to try to give them the benefit of the doubt, asking why Trump won't bring him back into the country. Well, the decision's been made. President Bukele has backed him up. He said it would be absurd for me to release this man. So no, this isn't going to happen. But of course, the fake news couldn't, stop pestering the Trump administration for their decision regarding Garcia. In fact, they continued this conversation out on the lawn as well. And then we have Stephen Miller shutting him down once again. Let's take a listen to that.
Anyone here tell me, what would happen to the illegal alien from El Salvador if he came back to the United States? Does anyone here know?
anyone want to guess? Any of you? What? Does any of you know the answer to the question? Legally, what would happen if he came back here? Does any of you know? Any of you?
Do you really
you've been writing? I'm talking now.
You really believe the Supreme
you
Court
need to stop.
doesn't
I'm talking now.
Doesn't think
Does any of you?
Why was it unanimous?
You're done. Does any of you know the answer to the question? Does any of you? You've been talking about it for days.
Y'all would deport him again, no?
He would be arrested.
Okay.
He'd be put in confinement. He would be deported the second time to El Salvador again because there's no withholding order for an alien who's a member of a foreign terrorist organization, number one. Number two is the gang that he's a member of doesn't exist in El Salvador anymore. So what you're asking for is to be deported twice. But additionally, if we chose to just pretend that the withholding order was real, he would be deported to a different country. So, for example, he could be deported to Egypt. So I'm just trying to understand, is it your view, in other words, you have to find a country that would be willing to take a MS-13 member from El Salvador. So I'm trying to understand from you all is, so if he came back and under our laws, he was then deported to Egypt or to Somalia, would you then be saying, great, I'm so glad that you deported him to another country? Is that what you'd all be saying? So do you understand our immigration laws at all? But the premise of your question, the gentlemen, so yes or no? The return, guys, do you know the difference between a deportation order and a withholding order? Do you know the difference? Any of you, please. Do you?
It's so funny. You almost have to talk to the fake news media like they're children because they just refuse to understand and see the truth when it's just laid out perfectly right there in front of them. It's really a joy, I have to say, to witness this every day here at the White House, giving these lessons from the Trump administration to the fake news. Clearly, they need to be correctly informed because their whole career is based on perpetuating lies. So it's good to see the truth being stated and hopefully some sense knocked into them. Now, whether or not they choose to report on the truth, I guess that's still yet to be determined. But, they're here and they know. So there's no excuse for them anymore.
Yeah, well, we can only hope sense will be knocked into them, but I don't think that will happen overnight, unfortunately. But, if they're asking the same questions and getting the same answers, it's like they want a different answer or they're trying to stump them or whatever the case. A law is a law. The Supreme Court ruled this way, and that's it. You're deported. And so they keep asking him. Inside the Oval Office, you had President Trump answer. You had Marco Rubio. You had Pam Bondi. You had Stephen Miller. And then they ask him the same question again outside about the same case. What are they expecting? It just boggles my mind and really shows that they are trying so hard to twist the narrative, but they just can't get the Trump administration to buckle because there's nothing to fall back on. I mean, it is what it is. And the fake news just can't deal with it.
That's exactly right. They can't deal with it. It's like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. They just keep asking the same question over and over, expecting some sort of a different answer. But you're right. The Trump administration is not going to cave on this. They are strong. They are firm. They are standing by what they've committed to do. It was just released this morning that they are now projecting 1 million deportees for the annual year 2025. So that is what they're working to do. If Trump says he's going to do something, I think he's a man of his word and he's going to do it. Of course, we're also hearing about, encouraging the self-deportation, whether it be from the fines that they plan to implement on illegals up to almost $1,000 a day, being forced to register within the country if they ever want a shot at coming back in here. So there are many rules that are being set up here to have these illegals self-deport. And so if they don't choose to go now, it's going to be more difficult for them to ever come back here in the future. And the fact that the liberal mainstream legacy media continues to try to cover for these people and act like they're innocent and have done nothing wrong is really despicable. And it's really just sad that they seem to prioritize aliens over actual American citizens.
Absolutely. And taking a look at the numbers, Allison, just this past weekend, 11 violent illegal migrants, including 7 Tren de Aragua gang members were deported. Some of El Salvador's most wanted criminals are here in the U.S. Some of those have been deported. That includes MS-13 gang members as well. Those people are wanted in El Salvador. They're most wanted for murder, for rape, for aggravated assault, for kidnapping. These are dangerous people. And again, going back to the news media out there that's inside the Oval Office and then also outside the White House asking the same questions. Basically, why are you doing this? What rights do you have to send them back? These are the people we're talking about. And then El Salvador's president here today to say, look, we have a great partnership with the U.S. and these people are in your country illegally. And so, you know, it is what it is again. And it's just interesting. Like you say, it's pretty humorous. And I think the American people have woken up to it. But when you see days like today, when they make it a point to continue on and on and on, I mean, everyone in America has to see what's going on here with the mainstream media.
Well, you would certainly hope that they would see through the lies that are continually perpetuated by the mainstream media. But I guess when you're, you know, severely brainwashed like so many on the left are, it's hard to break free from that. But the bottom line is, you know, Trump is working tirelessly to get this immigration crisis under control. Of course, this is all a result of, you know, what Biden implemented during his 4 years installed in office. And President Trump is working very hard to undo this. In fact, there was another soundbite I have of him talking about how border crossings are down 99% as of this morning. Let's take a listen to that.
Actually, what you're doing with the border is remarkable. It has dropped, what, 95%? It's incredible.
As of this morning, 99%, 99.1% to be exact.
Why are those numbers not in the media?
Well, they get out with the fake news, you know, like CNN over here doesn't want to put them out because they don't like putting out good numbers. They only like putting out because I think they hate our country, actually. But it's a shame. You're right. Isn't that a great question? Why doesn't the media? Why don't they put out numbers?
Yeah, 99%. I mean, it's crazy, right?
We're doing
it's a crazy turnaround.
Christy, could you maybe say a couple of words about the border? How we're doing?
You know, it's just been absolutely phenomenal what a great leader can do. Clear direction. Our laws matter. We should only have people in our country that love us, and the Border Patrol and our ICE officers and law enforcement officers have done fantastic work. So we're proud of them. Now we just need to get the criminals and murderers and rapists and dangerous gang members and terrorist organizations out of our country. So, Mr. President Bukele, we thank you very much for your partnership. It has been wonderful for us to be able to have somewhere to send the worst of the worst and someone to partner with. And we'd like to continue that partnership because it's been a powerful message of consequences. Mr. President, you wanted people to know that there was consequences if you break our laws and harm our people and endanger families. And this is a clear consequence for the worst of the worst, that we have somewhere to put them.
I think President Trump made a great point there. Why won't the fake news share the real numbers? I mean, it's outlined right there. They must hate America. That's the only explanation. So my question is, if you hate our country so much and you refuse to, you know, applaud the wonderful work that our president is doing, why not go somewhere else? Why don't you go make yourself a citizen of Mexico if you love those people so much? I mean, it's just ridiculous, and it really just highlights how absurd the people are working to perpetuate these lies. Kristi Noem, you know, put it perfectly. We need people in this country that love America, and really that's all there is to it. But I think, you know, to sum up the meeting today, it was a great, you know, time for the president to meet with the president of El Salvador. It really reaffirmed a strong effort to crack down on immigration, and I think the president is thrilled that we have the president of El Salvador working on behalf of the American people to house these criminal aliens and continue to get them out of our country. So all good things there.
Absolutely. And I agree that it was good. A great visit to show that there's that partnership there, that relationship where they are working together to get their most wanted and the illegals who came to the U.S. back to El Salvador where they can be held there. And it shows the two leaders working together to make that happen. And of course, who's trying to stand between them? The fake news. But it won't happen. And this is what the American people voted for. And this is the mandate that was given. And that's what they're promising to do, and that's what they're doing right now. Allison, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for that report.
Thanks so much, Vanessa. Take care.
Well, any moment now, the president will welcome and visit with the 2024 college football national champions from Ohio State University. The Buckeyes beat Notre Dame 34-23 in the championship, their 9th championship. We are waiting for that ceremony on the south lawn of the White House. Should be taking place any minute now. We'll bring you live pictures as soon as it begins. Well, it was a good start to the week on Wall Street. On this Monday, numbers are up across the board. Taking a look right now at Market Watch, pulling that up for you so we can see the latest numbers. The Dow is up 177 points. The S&P 500 up 22. The Nasdaq up 28 points. President Trump put out a statement on tariffs, the cause of the market taking a nosedive just 2 weeks ago. He says this. All right, I guess we don't have that, but he says nobody is getting off the hook for the unfair trade balances and non-monetary tariff barriers that other countries have used against us, especially not China, which by far treats us the worst, he says. He put all of this on social media on his Truth Social. This is what he says. There was no tariff exception announced on Friday. These products, that is, are subject to the existing 20% fentanyl tariffs, and they are just moving to a different tariff bucket. The fake news knows this, but they refuse to report it. There he goes again. He is hammering them this week. The president also says we are taking a look at the semiconductors and the whole electronic supply chain and the upcoming national security tariff investigations. What has been exposed is that we need to make products in the United States and that we will not be held hostage by other countries, especially hostile trading nations like China, which will do everything within its power to disrespect the American people. We also cannot let them continue to abuse us on trade like they have done for decades. Those days are over. The golden age of America, which includes the upcoming tax and regulation cuts, a substantial amount of which was just approved by the House and Senate, will mean more and better paying jobs, making products in our nation and treating other countries, in particular China, the same way they have treated us. The bottom line, he says, is that our country will be bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. We will make America great again. Lengthy post there, but a great update on the tariff war with China. And of course, now is a good time to remind you, invest in gold and silver. If you haven't already, this is the time to do so. We recommend our friends over at Fisher Gold. Secure your wealth today. Go to MikeLindellGold.com. That's MikeLindellGold.com. Representatives are waiting to hear from you. Fisher Gold is endorsed by Mike Lindell. Again, MikeLindellGold.com. For qualifying orders, you could get a free coin and up to $20,000 in free silver. Let them know Mike Lindell sent you. Well, it was a clean bill of health for President Trump. Thank God. The president had his annual routine physical at Walter Reed Hospital on Friday, and the report is out. It was good news all the way around. Taking a look at his report that was released, Trump, as you know, is 78 years old. He weighs in at 224 pounds. His eyes, his head, his ear, his nose, his ears and his nose, his throat, all good. Cardiac and neurological, all normal range. Lab results, all good there too. The doctor's summary says this: the president remains in excellent health to execute his exhibits excellent cognitive and physical health, fully fit to execute the duties of the commander-in-chief and the head of state. So he is perfect fit, perfect there mentally to run this country. Of course he is. We knew it. The good Lord has kept him healthy, saved him from gunfire in the summer of last year. So stay healthy, Mr. President. We need you for a very long time. That is the order you just saw there on your screen from Walter Reed. He's always on the go, as you know. So he left Walter Reed this weekend and he headed straight to Miami. There he went to the UFC fight. What time did he get home? Well, we're told he didn't get to Mar-a-Lago until 2:30 a.m. You think that's late? It is. I have sources on the ground who also told me that the motorcade drove in at 2:30 a.m. and he was up when the sun came up playing golf. That's the president. When does he sleep? We just don't know. That's the top secret right there. Speaking of golf, did you watch the Masters this weekend? A big congratulations goes out to Rory McIlroy. The Trump family, huge golf fans. We all are here too at Lindell TV. Rory won his green jacket this weekend, and the purse that he brought home, payday, over $4 million. He also got a Grand Slam for his career. In golf, a Grand Slam is when a player wins all 4 major tournaments in 1 year: the Masters, the PGA Championship, the U.S. Open, the British Open. Not only did Rory take home the green jacket this weekend, again, he earned himself over $4 million. Don't you just love the Masters? Always great to watch. Good, happy smiles there. Big hugs with his caddy. All right, it's Holy Week for all who believe, and the president put out this special message on Palm Sunday yesterday to get us through the week. Take a look at what he posted. It's very special on this Easter week. He says this Holy Week, Christians around the world remember the crucifixion of God's only begotten Son, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And on Easter Sunday, we celebrate his glorious resurrection and proclaim, as Christians have done for nearly 2,000 years, that he is risen. Through the pain and sacrifice of Jesus on the cross, we saw God's boundless love and devotion to all humanity. And in that moment of his resurrection, history was forever changed with the promise of everlasting life. As we approach the joyous Easter Sunday, I want to wish Christians everywhere a happy and very blessed holiday. America is a nation of believers. We need God, we want God, and with his help, we will make our nation stronger, safer, greater, more prosperous, and more united than ever before. Thank you, he says, and happy Easter. Before we go, we want to remind you to shop MyPillow.com. Support Mike Lindell and all his initiatives. He has fought for the American people and election integrity, and so therefore it's our turn to support him. You know, the big box stores canceled him, but it's the people all over the world who have gone online on the World Wide Web to MyPillow.com and help Mike Lindell along the way when he has been attacked for the last several years. So go to MyPillow.com, type in the promo code Vanessa for lots of savings. That spring mega sale is still going on, but as you know, it won't last long. When supplies are gone, they're gone. So make sure you go do your shopping today. If you're doing some spring cleaning around the house, this is the time to get some new items for your kitchen, your bathroom, your bedroom. Get some new slippers, pillows, all the things while you're spring cleaning. Again, use the promo code Vanessa. And that'll do it for us today. We leave you with this message from the Secret Service. They're hiring. Do you think you can serve? Watch this video. And we'll see you right back here in 30 minutes for the Mike Lindell Show.
Not all heroes wear capes. Some wear a shield. They don't seek the spotlight. You will find them hidden under the shade. Heroes nearly invisible, unseen, unwavering, guarding our leaders' lives at all costs, with sharp eyes and steadfast courage. They step forward to safeguard the heart of our nation, bravely putting themselves between every American and the dangers of an uncertain and chaotic world. Sometimes being a hero means staying in the shadows, watching where no one thinks to look, being smarter, faster, stronger than a threat no one else sees before it arrives. Not all heroes wear capes, but when you serve with us, even when no one sees you, someone is always looking up to you.
The United States Secret Service is calling for a few more heroes. Will you step forward?